When I say Nord games, you're probably thinking about Spectacular Settlements, or The Dread of the Cursed Bestiary, or The Revenge of the Horde Bestiary, all rightfully famous books by Nord games. But what if I told you they actually have a series of adventures that are not only written by some of the best writers in the scene, they have some of the best artwork out there, but they introduce a very simple but very effective mechanic that can help anybody play the adventures for any party, at any level, at any place, in any campaign. This is Heroes of High Fantasy. Hi there fellow role players and game masters, my name is Mr. Tarask and this is still your go-to YouTube channel for anything Nord games, and today I want to talk about the hidden gems called Heroes of High Fantasy. If you do not know what they are, it is actually a very cool series of adventures you can get from the Nord games web store. You can get them as a PDF. Some will set you back $5, some will set you back $10, there's even one that will, there's three that will set you back $3, and they are all adventures, short adventures. Some are more like one-shots and others are more like 3 or 4 sessions, but the Heroes of the High Fantasy, something they do is really cool, and I just think my community should know about them and should check the link in the description below to download them for it yourself. Because Heroes of High Fantasy, as you can see, an amazing cover for this adventure. This is one of the adventures from Heroes of High Fantasy series. They have something on the cover that is missing, and that is the level for the adventure. And they actually introduce a mechanic in these adventures, and that is why this is somewhat of a shorter form series. I'm not like really reviewing the adventure by itself. I'm not like really talking about what the adventures are and the plot points, because you need to find the right adventure for yourself. But what these are playable at any level for any party. By that I mean they have a system where every DC is split into 3. You have a DC of maybe 5, one of maybe 10, and one of maybe 15, or maybe 8, 12, and 17, something like that. And it is for easy, intermediate, and expert. By that they mean the tier 1 of play, the first tier of play, the second tier of play, or the third tier of play. So you can play these adventures in your as a starting adventure, or when your players are level 7, or even when they're level 12 or 13, you can still run these adventures. And this adventure, for example, long story short, there is this cult that goes up to the party, and they're like, our monastery has been overrun by monsters, and your characters, the characters go to the monastery, and they're like, let's get rid of the monsters and save the monastery. And the monks are like, take whatever you want from our monastery as a reward, but just please clear our monastery because we want to pray and we want to meditate and all that jazz. And then they go into this monastery and they find trap after trap and hazard after hazard, and all that stuff that you might find in a dungeon, they find in there. And to make matters worse, the door closes behind them. Now, what's going on? There's actually like some sort of bad guy who is looking to feed his their ghouls, actually, who want to feed on humanoids, and that is why the monks go out and they go get parties. They put some parties in the monastery, close the door, and then the bad guys can eat the party. So the party needs to survive the monastery, survive the traps, survive the ghouls trying to eat them, get out of there, and then go kill the monks, who are basically very evil. As you can see, it is written by Nord games. This one is actually written by JVC Parry, which is cool. Not all of them are written by JVC Parry, but this one is written by JVC Parry. The artwork is cool, so these are really high effort adventures that you might find on the guild, you might find on DriveThruRPG, but you can also download them directly from Nord games, which is of course always better. As you can see, the artwork is there. It is completely mapped out. This one is 24 pages thick. The monastery is mapped out. It's what you'd expect from an adventure. All of the traps have 3 difficult DCs, like it says here. A character that succeeds on a DC 15, 18, 20 intelligence check, meaning that 15 for the first tier of play, 18 for the second tier of play. So the first tier is levels 1 to 5, right? It's, second tier is levels 6 to 10, and the third tier is levels 10 or what is it, like 11 to 15 or something like that. That's 1, 2, and 3. There's also a tier 4, but they don't really go into that for these adventures, because tier 4 is like really a power play kind of game. It's just then they also have so they have this artwork, they have the layout, and what they also do very well is again, artwork, really cool. Look at this guy, he's trying to eat you, wants to come at you, wants to eat you. Really dangerous stuff. Written by JVC Parry, so there's probably going to be some really wicked stuff in there. What they do is they have the appendix where the monsters are for an adventure. They have beginner monsters, so for the first tier of play, the Crypt ghouls, the ghouls, and the Crimson King. And they do it again for the intermediate monsters, the Crypt ghoul, the ghouls, and the Crimson King. And then they do it again for the advanced monsters, Crypt ghoul, the ghoul, and right here, the Crimson King. So that's how this works. So normally you'd pick up an adventure for, let's say, levels 5 all the way to levels 7, right? And the adventure I've written for the Dreaded Cursed Bestiary, Isle of the Dreaded Curse, which you can still pre-order, link in the description below, is just for a certain level. But this is really cool, because if you invest in this, you can use this all over. You can use this for all your parties, basically. Maybe you have a party with your family who are level 3, and you have a party with your friends who are level 7, and you have a party that pay you to be a freaking DM. They're level 11. I don't care. You can use it. So you're paying $10 once, but you can use it all over the place, and you can run it again and again. Here's another example. I don't know what this is about. Witch of the Wilderlands. It's also written by, as you can see, different people. But again, the artwork is really cool. I want to go into that dungeon, or maybe I don't want to go into that dungeon. But as you can see, they all carry the title Heroes of High Fantasy. And then it gives you the title of the adventure below. And again, it has 3 DCs. It is filled with whatever you need to run it. It's got some really crazy cool artwork. There's this. There's the dungeon, it's mapped out, and again, there are the, let me see. There are the beginner monsters, the intermediate monsters, and the advanced monsters. And I really love this, and I don't hear a lot of people talk about these adventures, but to my opinion, you should really go to this page. The link will be in the description below. By the way, if you decide to pick these up or anything from Nord Games, click my affiliate link. I take a small percentage from whatever you buy. It helps the channel out. It helps everybody out if you go directly through my link and then buy your stuff. I just wanted to point you towards this because there are some cool adventures in here. You can, by the way, click one of the adventures, of course, have a view, and then it gives you like some like a synopsis, right? So you know which one to pick up. But they're not expensive. $5 for 2 to 5 sessions of playtime with variable difficulty, 30 pages, and just a 5th edition adventure that has 30 pages that you can play for any party. I think the value here is amazing. Not enough people know about it, and I wanted to quickly show it to you. Until next video, bye-bye.